Imagine being surrounded on all sides by foes, each thirsting for your defeat. Now, instead of panicking, you smile, because you've got them right where you want them. The central position tactic, a maneuver as timeless as warfare itself. But what happens when this age-old strategy meets the audacious genius of a man named Napoleon Bonaparte? Prepare for a thrilling journey through history, strategy, and one man's relentless pursuit of victory. Throughout the sprawling tapestry of history, military minds, from gritty generals to visionary tacticians, have been on an eternal quest for that elusive edge, that game-changing silver bullet that would consistently bring them victory. For many, tactics came and went like fleeting shadows on a battleground. But for Napoleon, there was one strategy that stood out not as a novel discovery, but as a sublime perfection of ancient wisdom. To set the record straight, Napoleon didn't pull the central position tactic out of a hat. This tactic is as ancient as the mist-covered hills and silent valleys where countless battles have raged. Its wisdom was whispered in the tactical blueprints of luminaries like Alexander the Great, echoed in the audacious maneuvers of Hannibal Barca, and resonated in the profound teachings of Sun Tzu. Each of these legends recognized the potent core of the idea: by positioning oneself centrally amidst multiple foes, one could control the rhythm of battle, divide adversaries, and dominate them sequentially. Yet, it was beneath the fluttering tricolor flag and through the sheer brilliance of Napoleon's leadership that this tactic was transformed. Illuminated with a newfound luster, and wielded with a mastery that left Europe both awestruck and reeling. Now, let's delve deeper, slicing through layers of history to uncover the intricate nuances of the central position tactic. So, what exactly is this much lauded strategy? Visualize a grand chessboard. On this board, you're not just facing a single opponent's set of pieces. No, you're surrounded by threats emerging from multiple sides. For many, this would spell disaster, the impending doom of being overrun. But with the central position tactic, this scenario transforms into a golden opportunity. Instead of bracing yourself for head-on collisions from every direction, you, in all your strategic brilliance, take a bold step. You position your forces dead center, acting as a wedge, driving deep between these converging enemy armies. This central stance, while seemingly exposed, serves a cunning purpose. By being in the midst, you split the approaching threats, ensuring they can't combine their might against you. The beauty of this position? The sheer disarray it causes among your foes. They find themselves not just fighting against you, but also needing to be wary of each other. This keeps them separated, perpetually off balance, and in a state of vulnerability. Once you've got them in this precarious situation, that's when the magic happens. With the agility of a panther, you strike out at one enemy, pouring in all your strength, overwhelming them with a force they couldn't have anticipated. Having thrown them into disarray, you then defeat them, relishing in the victory. But there's no time to rest on laurels. With the same swiftness, you pivot, turning your attention and might onto the next enemy, catching them unawares. This rhythm becomes your dance of war: divide their attention, conquer them individually, and then seamlessly transition to the next. This cycle, repeated with precision, ensures that no matter how many threats loom, you always hold the upper hand. At a glance, the central position tactic may seem like an effortless dance, a simple twirl across the war chessboard. But, as with any masterpiece, its beauty and effectiveness rest not just in the concept but in its masterful execution. The grace with which Napoleon's Grande Armée maneuvered was not dissimilar to a ballet, only on a vast, tumultuous stage of earth and fire. Their movements, precise and fluid, were so swift that news of their advance spread through Europe's salons faster than the juiciest Parisian gossip. But it wasn't mere speed. It was the intention behind each move, each calculated step. The very core of this strategy lies in the rapid concentration of forces. Striking hard, striking fast, leaving enemies reeling from the impact. Before they could regroup, Napoleon was already several steps ahead, targeting the next in line, always ensuring the scales of unpredictability and control tipped in his favor. Now, you might ask, what made Napoleon's rendition of the central position so iconic, so revolutionary? The answer isn't just in the tactic itself, but in the flair with which he executed it. And the ace up his sleeve? The element of surprise. Much like a master illusionist dazzling an audience, Napoleon reveled in the unexpected. He would appear where least anticipated, strike when least expected, and vanish before comprehending eyes could follow. It was this unpredictability that kept adversaries perpetually off-footed. But even a magician needs his tools, and Napoleon had the core system. This was no mere organizational change, it was a groundbreaking revolution in military strategy. By dividing his army into semi-independent corps, each capable of self-sustainment and combat, Napoleon ensured flexibility beyond what traditional armies could fathom. No longer was his army a lumbering beast, but a swarm of agile predators, each ready to strike from any angle, at any moment, keeping enemies in perpetual suspense. With this, Napoleon didn't just employ the central position, he elevated it, transforming it into an art form. The central position wasn't merely a tactic on a map, a clever positioning of battalions on the vast terrains of Europe. It was far more intricate, more cerebral. Think of it as a grand game of chess, where each move is not just about advancing a piece, but also about casting shadows of doubt in the opponent's mind. Napoleon played this mental game as adroitly as he did the physical one. He turned warfare into a dizzying dance by swiftly repositioning, striking with unexpected ferocity, and then recalibrating for the next strike. His adversaries, constantly trying to anticipate his next move, found themselves trapped in a whirlwind of uncertainty. They were not just fighting against muskets and cannons but against the looming specter of unpredictability that Napoleon cast over the battlefield. This psychological warfare, this game of shadows and doubt, was where Napoleon truly shined. It was as if he whispered into the ears of his enemies, always letting them know he was several steps ahead. This persistent undercurrent of unpredictability meant that foes were often beaten mentally even before the actual battle commenced. Their resolve weakened, strategies muddled, and spirits dampened, all because Napoleon had already conquered the most crucial battlefield, the mind. And so, as we journey through the annals of history, we find that while many generals wielded swords and strategies, Napoleon brandished something even more potent. A psychological mastery that left enemies second-guessing at every turn. It's a testament to the enduring legacy of a man who understood that true power lay not just in the number of soldiers but in the art of making every move count. If you found this expedition enlightening, do share your insights below. And as always, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into history's most fascinating tales. Until next time, keep the wheels of time turning.